Coming up at 138 pounds, Caleb Sills of Fort Morgan will take on Sean Briggs of Frederick. At 145, I believe that's Richard Herrera of Fort Morgan. And Dylan Martin was scheduled to wrestle for Frederick. It'll be somebody else instead. Derek Gray will go for Fort Morgan, a senior at 152, against an opponent that will be determined here momentarily. The defending state runner-up, Brandon Hoffman, will go at 160 for the Mustangs against Alex Vinifre. At 170, Ben Hokenadel for the Mustangs, a senior against Logan Brandon. Chris Schreiber goes at 182 for Fort Morgan against Jake Vargas. At 195 pounds, Jesus Ibarra against Jaron Ballman of Frederick. And another takedown there for the Mustang, Jacob Gherkin. It's now 6-2. That was preceded by a 1-point escape, and now DeFalco's in Colorado High School Activities Association Wrestling is on B106 and B106.com tonight from Fort Morgan High School. It's the Fort Morgan Mustangs dueling the Frederick Warriors. I'm John Beltran as the opening match is underway between Jacob Gherkin of Fort Morgan at 132 pounds and Jordan DeFalco of Frederick. And right now with 51 seconds to go in the second, it's all Gherkin. He leads by a score of 8-2. We'll have 4 forfeits tonight, 2 for Fort Morgan and 2 for Frederick, so those will cancel each other out. Coming up at 138 pounds, Caleb Sills of Fort Morgan will wrestle Sean Briggs. At 145, it's Richard Herrera, a freshman, against an opponent that we'll get to momentarily. At 152, Derek Gray for the Mustangs was scheduled to wrestle Noah Payne. It'll be somebody else instead. Brandon Hoffman, a defending state runner-up, goes for the Mustangs at 160 against Alex Vinifre. At 170, it'll be Ben Hokenadel of Fort Morgan against Logan Brandon. Chris Schreiber, wrestles at 182 for Fort Morgan against Jake Vargas. Jesus Ibarra goes for the Mustangs at 195 against Jaron Ballman. Mustangs have an open weight at 220. Nick Letkamiller will receive a forfeit for Frederick. At 285, Angel Del Campo will receive a forfeit for the Mustangs. Back to 106. Jesse Ortiz receives a forfeit for Frederick. The Mustangs have the open weight. At 113, it's Ian Wingstrom, a junior for the Mustangs, against Tyler Ashton. At 120 pounds, the Warriors have an open weight. Cody Carpenter will get the forfeit win for Fort Morgan. And then the final match of the night will be Justin Wood at 126 for the Mustangs, a junior against fellow junior Cody Campos of Frederick. 10-2 is now the score for Gherkin as we're heading into the third period. And Gherkin will be on the bottom, DeFalco on top. With an even 2 minutes to go in the match, this is KPRB. Brush, Fort Morgan, Morgan County's B106. As the Mustangs are looking to make it perhaps 6-0 if Gherkin can register a pin. But if not, he could pick up a major decision. There's another 2-point takedown, making it 12-2 for Gherkin. And he's got DeFalco in a very tough position right now. That left shoulder's down, but the right shoulder's well off the mat. And now he's got him in a much better position. Both shoulders on the mat, but now looks like DeFalco's able to work his way out of it, and then readjusting is Jacob Gherkin. And he's got DeFalco flat on his back. Looks like a pin from here, but that right shoulder is coming up off the mat. We're 40 seconds into the third, and there's the pin. 4 minutes and 41 seconds for Jacob Gherkin. And here we go with Sean Briggs, I believe that is, for Frederick. Caleb Sills for Fort Morgan. We'll get to that in 30 seconds right here on B106 and B106.com. John Beltran back at Fort Morgan High School, where Caleb Sills at 138 pounds, a senior for Fort Morgan, with a 2-0 lead. Now he's got Briggs in trouble for Frederick. He's got him flat on his back, and there is the pin for Caleb Sills. In just 44 seconds, the Fort Morgan Mustang pins the Frederick Warrior. And the Mustangs now lead this duel by a score of 12-0. Richard Herrera wrestling for Fort Morgan here at 145. I don't think that's Dylan Martin out there for Frederick. Cargill Meat Solutions takes as much pride in the community just as they do in the products they provide to their consumers. Cargill Meat Solutions, part of the KSIR B106 scholarship program. So the Mustangs with a 12-0 lead after a 4:41 pin by Jacob Gherkin at 132 pounds and a 44-second pin by Caleb Sills at 138. And they're on the edge of the mat as Herrera and his opponent go out of bounds. Herrera's only a freshman, so this is going to be tough for him. This match could go the distance if Herrera wrestles up to par. The Mustangs are guaranteed 24 points in this match because they will receive a forfeit. There's a 2-point takedown for Richard Herrera. So he's got the early 2-0 lead, a minute 25 to go in the opening period. Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance, locally in Fort Morgan and Brush, offering home, health, auto, farm, business, and workers' compensation insurance. Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance. Nearly midway through the opening period, and the Fort Morgan wrestler Richard Herrera with a 2-0 lead. And the lineup has changed quite a bit on both sides, so I'm not sure who the Frederick wrestler is. It was supposed to be Dylan Martin out there, a fellow freshman, but I believe he's been replaced. Still 2-0. And both wrestlers spinning in the middle of the mat. They keep this going, then we could have a very quick first period. They're nowhere near the edge of the mat. We're down to 41 seconds to go. Mustangs lead the duel 12-0, and Richard Herrera leads this match by a score of 2-0. So we're now inside of 30 seconds, still near the middle of the mat. Herrera's basically trying to maneuver his way into a better position to pin the Frederick opponent. But they're just sprawling out near the middle of the mat as we approach the 15-second mark of the opening period. Now they're basically shoulder to shoulder out there as we are inside of 10 seconds to go. And it's going to go to the second period. Richard Herrera, Fort Morgan at 145 pounds, leading by a score of 2-0. At 1201 East Platte Avenue in Fort Morgan, stop by and get what you need to refuel on game days at Edwards Right Price Market and Flowerland. Again, a 4:41 pin for Jacob Gherkin at 132 pounds and a 44-second fall by Caleb Sills at 138. The Mustangs lead this duel over the Frederick Warriors in Fort Morgan 12-0. 15 seconds into the second, nearly a takedown for Herrera. Now he's got his opponent on his back. If he can get both shoulders down, we could have a third consecutive pin by the Mustangs, but that right shoulder is well off the mat. Herrera is going to pick up at the very least some back points, but he's very close to a pin right now. It's 4-0. We'll see if he can pick up some more points with a minute 23 to go in the second. The Mustangs are dominating this duel, and they've got their top two wrestlers coming up in Derek Gray and Brandon Hoffman. A minute 6 to go, second period, and 3 near fall points, and now Richard Herrera leads by a score of 7-0. And he's just taking care of the Frederick opponent, who's been on his knees for most of the match. We've wrestled for over 3 minutes and 15 seconds, and the Warrior's been on his knees the entire match. He hasn't been able to get up, hasn't been able to get Herrera in a precarious position, as we're down to 35 seconds to go, second period. And Herrera leads by a score of 7-0 in the 145-pound match from Fort Morgan High School. Maintaining that 7-0 advantage is Herrera. You can see T.O. Charlie's for a great used car truck today. If you don't see what you want on the lot, they'll find it for you at 700 West Platte Avenue in Fort Morgan. That's T.O. Charlie's. 10 seconds to go, second period. Not much action near the edge of the mat. Herrera just riding his opponent, who's not going to get up, and we'll go to the third period. Richard Herrera, Fort Morgan, leading 7-0. So barring a major mistake, the Mustangs are going to pick up at least 3 more points, perhaps a major decision. And I think we have some blood time there for the Frederick Warrior. At 417 Main Street in Fort Morgan, Platte Valley Hearing Center, getting your hearing to its very best. That's Platte Valley Hearing Center. Plenty of Mustang action on B106 and B106.com over the next couple of nights. We'll have Mustang basketball tomorrow night That'll be here against the Frederick Warriors. That's ladies basketball in Fort Morgan at 7 o'clock. And then on Saturday from Brush, it'll be the Fort Morgan Mustangs and the Brush Bee Diggers. The girls basketball game at 6 o'clock and the boys at 7:30. That's Saturday night. As we have 4 consecutive nights of action right here on B106 and B106.com. Had Mustang basketball last night, wrestling tonight, and then Mustang basketball tomorrow and Saturday. We're definitely into the month of January, and winter sports is in full force. Blood has been cleaned off the Frederick wrestler. And we're heading to the third period. Richard Herrera of Fort Morgan at 145 pounds with a solid 7-0 lead. He'll be on the bottom to begin the period. And at some point we'll start this period. Still waiting for the beginning of the third, and here we go. Trying to break free is Herrera, cannot do so. And now he's on his knees. The Frederick wrestler riding Herrera a little bit. And Herrera just has to basically work his way out of this, and he's trying to garner a 1-point escape as he goes out of bounds with 1:38 to go in the match. And Herrera leading 7-0. The Mustangs lead the duel 12-0. Following pins by Jacob Gherkin at 132 pounds and Caleb Sills at 138. Just off the center of the mat. On the bottom is Herrera. Again, trying to work his way out of this and generate a 1-point escape. But the Frederick wrestler will not let go. We're down to 1:20 to go. There's the 1-point escape, and it's 8-0 in favor of Herrera. He could generate a major decision, and instead of picking up 3 points, will pick up 4 for the Mustangs. Of course, a pin would be even better. And now he takes him down. That's going to be at least 2 points and maybe more. 55 seconds to go. It's 10-0 Herrera, and 2 near fall points, making it 12-0. So this, at the very least, is going to be a major decision. If he keeps up this pace with 51 seconds to go, could be a tech fall. But you've got to generate a 15-point lead for that to happen. Either way, the Mustangs are going to take a solid 16-0 lead at the very least, going into their 152-pound match with Derek Gray, the third-ranked wrestler for Fort Morgan at that weight class. 30 seconds to go. And Richard Herrera about to pick up the victory, and now that left shoulder is on the mat, but not the right by that Frederick wrestler. No points awarded there. Or did he pick up 2? Nope. Yeah, there's the 2. 14-0. But it's not going to be a tech fall. Needs 1 more point for the tech fall. Richard Herrera will win this match 14-0 at 145 pounds, and the Mustangs will grab a 16-0 lead. We'll keep it right here for the 152-pound match. And we'll get the name of the Frederick wrestler.
152 pounds for Frederick, Cody Lucier. And for Fort Morgan,
that'll be Cody Lucier, who was supposed to wrestle 160, going for Frederick, and Derek Gray will go for the Mustangs. Derek Gray is no stranger to the state tournament. Been there the last 2 years. Immediately in on a single leg and a takedown for Derek Gray. That took just 8 seconds to generate a 2-0 lead at 152 pounds on Cody Lucier. Now he's got him almost flat on his back. The left shoulder is down. The right shoulder is still up. Gray trying to maneuver that move, and now he's just about got it. This could be another first period pin. We had one by Caleb Sills, as Derek Gray is going to take a huge lead in this opening period on Lucier if he doesn't generate the fall. He's already up 2-0, but back points are coming, and he's got 3 back points, making it 5-0. Now repositioning that maneuver on Lassier, but the right shoulder is well off the mat. 1 minute to go in the opening period. Derek Gray of Fort Morgan leads by a score of 5-0 on Cody Lassier. And there's 3 more points awarded to Derek Gray. At the very least, he's going to get a tech fall here. He is dominating Lassier. It's 8-0. And again, almost generating another pin. And there it is for Derek Gray. In 1 minute and 21 seconds, Derek Gray pins Cody Lassier of Frederick. And now the Mustangs lead by a score of 22-0. Here's Brandon Hoffman, a defending state runner-up for Fort Morgan at 160 pounds against Alex Vinifray. We'll have some video up, by the way, on KSIRsports.com, also on our KSIR B106 channel on YouTube. Hoffman looking for the third first-period pin by a Mustang tonight. Caleb Sills did it, and so did Derek Gray. And now Brandon Hoffman near the edge of the mat, trying to get Vinifray in a position to do so. He's taking him down and very close to a pin. That one shoulder is barely off the mat. We're only 25 seconds into the match, and Vinifray is in big-time trouble. And Brandon Hoffman, I believe, is going to pick up a pin here anytime soon if he can just get that left shoulder pinned to the mat. This will be a first-period pin for Brandon Hoffman at 160 pounds, and there it is in just 46 seconds. Brandon Hoffman for Fort Morgan pins Alex Vinifray. And the Mustangs are dominating this duel. They now lead 28-0. And here's Ben Hokenadel for Fort Morgan at 170 pounds against Logan Brandon of Frederick. The Mustangs have 3 first-period pins and 4 pins overall. Richard Herrera won by major decision. That was nearly a tech fall. That was 14-0. This should be a more competitive match. These are 2 pretty good wrestlers here. Hokenadel in the first period. No score so far. And there is the takedown after a 1-point escape by Hokenadel. He now leads by a score of 3-0. We're only 30 seconds into the match. And Hokenadel leading Logan Brandon of Frederick. Check that, 2-0. Okay, there was no escape there. The board said 3-0, and I thought I had missed an escape there, but it is 2-0 after the takedown. With 1:10 to go in the opening period from Fort Morgan High School, the Mustangs lead the duel 28-0. 4 pins and a major decision. Inside of a minute to go in the first period as the wrestlers go out of bounds. And Ben Hokenadel leading Logan Brandon of Frederick by a score of 2-0. On the bottom will be Brandon, and Hokenadel throws him down. But to no avail, no points awarded there. This is the 170-pound match from Fort Morgan High School. Hokenadel trying to maneuver his way, and he's got Brandon on his back. Trying to just hold those 2 shoulders down. Ben Hokenadel can pick up a first-period pin, and does for the Mustangs in 1 minute and 27 seconds. Another first-period pin. And it was delivered by Ben Hokenadel at 170 pounds. So that's the 127 pin. The Mustangs now lead 34-0. We'll come back with more wrestling after this on B106 and B106.com. John Beltran back at Fort Morgan High School, where the Mustangs lead the duel over the Frederick Warriors 34-0. We're up to 182 pounds. Jake Vargas with a 2-point takedown for Frederick, as they're looking for their first victory. He's taking on Chris Schreiber, who's only a freshman, so this is tough for the Mustang as he's facing a junior. And the Mustangs are pretty much guaranteed now to win the duel. They have got 5 first-period pins. Check that, 4, and a third-period pin. Wrestlers go out of bounds, but 3 near fall points for Vargas. He now leads 5-0 at 182 pounds. We started just a few minutes before 7, and we're only at 7:22. We've only got 4 more matches to go, including this one. Still to come for the Mustangs, Jesus Ibarra at 195 pounds against Jaron Ballman. Ian Wingstrom at 113 against Tyler Ashton. And the final match of the night at 126, Justin Wood for Fort Morgan against Cody Campos. We are at the 42nd mark after a 1-point escape by Shriver in the opening period. And it's 7-1 in favor of Jake Vargas of Frederick. Right now it appears that Shriver is just a little bit overmatched. But again, you can understand that with him being 2 years younger than his opponent. These are always learning experiences because normally when you're at this level, you're accustomed to wrestling against JV competition. But Shriver's wrestling hard out there, but Jake Vargas a little bit too much as Shriver's in trouble at this point in the second period. He's going to be saved perhaps by the clock with 2 seconds to go. And they'll go to the second period, but it's a huge lead. 3 near fall points, 10-1 for Jake Vargas of Frederick. Mustangs lead the duel 34-0, a 441 pin by Jacob Gherkin over Jordan DeFalco at 132 pounds. Caleb Sills over Sean Briggs, a 44-second fall at 138, making it 12-0. Richard Herrera won his match 14-0. We're not sure who he wrestled out there. And that made it 16-0. Then Derek Gray at 152 with a 121 fall over Cody Lucier. At 160, Brandon Hoffman defeated Alex Vinifre in 46 seconds. That made it 28-0. Then moments ago, Ben Hokenato at 170 pounds with a 127 fall over Logan Brandon. Again, 34-0 is the count. And hopefully we've got all those wrestlers' names right because this roster was changed quite a bit from what we had earlier. They go out of bounds. A 2-point takedown prior to that for Jake Vargas. He might win by tech fall here over Chris Shriver of Fort Morgan at 182 because it's 12-1 and plenty of time remaining. Again, 1:20 to go. Second period from Fort Morgan High School. I'm John Beltran here on Morgan County's B106. Your one-stop center for projects around your home, office, or yard is Ackley Building Center, 1402 Mill Street in Brush. Another 2-point takedown, preceded by a 1-point escape. It's 14-2. 3 more points consecutively by the Frederick wrestler. It'll be over, and now they're counting off points, and the match is going to end right here. Maybe via the pin. Shriver is on his back. 47 seconds to go, and there it is right there in the second period. A pin in 3 minutes and 13 seconds for Jake Vargas of Frederick. So here we go to 195. It'll be Jesus Ibarra, a freshman for the Mustangs, against Jaron Ballman, who's a junior for Frederick. And we are underway as we have 3 more matches remaining, including this one. The feature match of the night, I was told, is going to be at 113. Ian Wingstrom against Tyler Ashton. Wingstrom is the higher-rated wrestler. That will be our next match, as there will be forfeits at 220, 285, and 106. The Mustangs will receive 1 forfeit. Frederick will actually be benefiting from 2 forfeits. No score, 30 seconds into the match. The most important thing to buying a new building or starting a new design build project is picking the right company to build it. Call Pat Walter, Travis Lefevre, or Jared Samples for your free bid, 970-842-5837, buildingsbydesign.com. And right now, Ibarra is in trouble. The freshman nearly got pinned there by Jaron Ballman, but he's got that right shoulder off the mat. It is 2-0 after the takedown, but Ballman is looking to make this a first period pin. And there it is. In 1 minute and 1 second for Jaron Ballman. It's now 34-12. Now we'll get 3 forfeits here at 220 pounds. Nick Letkamiller will receive a forfeit for Frederick, making it 34-18. At 285, Angel Del Campo will receive a forfeit for Fort Morgan, making it 40-18. And then back to 106, Jesse Ortiz gets a forfeit for Frederick, and that'll make the score 40-24. But we'll have to go through these 3 forfeits right now. These wrestlers have to be officially introduced and have their hand raised before the forfeits are awarded. As already Ian Wingstrom for the Mustangs getting ready at 113 against Tyler Ashton. Your one-stop shop for all of your banking and investment needs, from checking to savings to IRAs, is Morgan Federal Bank, 321 Ensign Street. Morgan Federal Bank, there's a difference. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. And for all of your auto supply needs, stop by Central Auto Parts in Fort Morgan. Yeah, the board says 40-12, but Nick Letkamiller, well, is he going to receive a forfeit? Maybe there are just forfeits at 285 and 106. Yeah, I guess what they're saying is that 220 is an open weight. Or an open weight for both. So no forfeit. Nick Letkamiller was introduced before the match, or before this whole duel, but there'll be no forfeit there for Frederick. It'll be open. And we are underway at 113, and Tyler Ashton with a 2-point takedown on Ian Wingstrom. This is the one match that could go the distance tonight in Fort Morgan, with the Mustangs leading the duel officially 40-18. We're 25 seconds into the match. The Mustangs with 4 first-period pins grabbed a 34-0 lead. Frederick has come back with a couple of pins. There's a reversal by Wingstrom. And, well, it should be tied at 2. They've got it 4-0 on the board. But clearly Wingstrom with a reversal. Now it says 6-2, now 2-2. They were messed up on the scoreboard downstairs. 1:05 to go, first period. Ashton of Frederick 2, Wingstrom of Fort Morgan 2 at 113 pounds. And there is a takedown for Ashton. And Wingstrom was in brief trouble. He works his way out of it, but not before Ashton grabs a 4-2 lead. 44 seconds to go, and the action is stopped. On the opening period. Cody Carpenter coming up. Actually, he will not wrestle. He'll receive a forfeit at 120 for the Mustangs. Yeah, this duel is just over half an hour old, and we're almost done. And let's see if Wingstrom will be in the bottom. He will. The board says 6-2. That's the lead for Tyler Ashton, who is one of Frederick's best wrestlers. And when you beat a guy like Wingstrom the way he's doing right now, you've got to be very good, because Wingstrom is ranked 4th at 113 pounds by Tim Yontet on the mat. And he is in trouble here in the opening period, still trailing 6-2 with 23 seconds to go. The Mustangs lead the duel 40-18. After 5 pins, 4 in the first period. And there is a 2-point takedown. Or no, just the escape, excuse me. The escape for Ian Wingstrom, making it 6-3. No takedown whatsoever. We're going to go to the second period. And it's going to be Ashton of Frederick leading Wingstrom of Fort Morgan by that 6-3 score. Spike Reynolds, the head coach of the Mustangs, giving instructions out there to his wrestler, and now he will speak with the official Warren Walker. Yeah, the Mustangs have already won this duel tonight. The most they can win it by is a 58-18 count, because they're going to get a forfeit, but they would need pins here by Wingstrom and Justin Wood. But Wingstrom's going to be hard-pressed to pin Tyler Ashton, who's been very good, very elusive so far in the opening period, as the second period is underway. 6-2 in favor of Ashton of Frederick. Can Wingstrom do something to get Ashton in a rough position here and perhaps pick up some points and draw just a little bit closer? Check that, 6-3. I said 6-2. 6-3 is the official score. With 1:35 to go in the second period, wrestlers are just tied up near the center of the mat. And right now, Wingstrom just cannot get in a position to be able to take down this wrestler from Frederick, Tyler Ashton. But Ashton does something, and now Wingstrom is in trouble. He's down 8-3 after the 2-point takedown. And this might be a pin, but Wingstrom's able to work his way out of it, lifting that left shoulder. However, some near fall points and back points, making it 10-3. Wingstrom is losing here in the second period with 57 seconds to go to Frederick's Tyler Ashton. The Warriors have picked up 3 victories, 2 by pin and 1 by forfeit. And right now Wingstrom cannot figure out Tyler Ashton of Frederick, who's just been very good so far over the first 2 periods. And that's saying a lot because Wingstrom is an outstanding wrestler for the Mustangs. But this is one of the better wrestlers he'll face all season. 27 seconds to go, second period. 10-3 in favor of Ashton of Frederick. And right now on his knees is Wingstrom, trying to garner a 1-point escape. And there's a takedown by Wingstrom near the edge of the mat, making it 10-5, and that's going to be the score heading into period number 3 here at Fort Morgan High School. 10-5, Ashton of Frederick leading Wingstrom of Fort Morgan. This is the 113-pound match, only 1 more to go. Then we'll have a recap of the action tonight. Wingstrom's got to put together 2 solid minutes. Committed to serving those in production ag. Premier Farm Credit is the gold standard in ag lending. Wingstrom will be on the bottom, trailing by a score of 10-5. This is the 9th of 10 matches tonight at Fort Morgan High School, and we're underway. And Wingstrom with an immediate takedown, making it 10-7. And now he's got Ashton in trouble. Can't hold him long enough. Now he's got that right leg in the air. But on his side now is Ashton. Boy, if Wingstrom can just turn him over a little bit, he could pick up a pin and stun Wingstrom, or stun Ashton, who had a 10-3 lead. There it is! There is the pin for Ian Wingstrom. 4.5 minutes into the match after Wingstrom trailed Tyler Ashton 10-3. And yet he picks up the 6th pin of the night for the Mustangs. Boy, that was impressive.
Now 120 pounds for the Mustangs. Cody Carpenter receives a forfeit.
Now the Mustangs with a lead of 46-18. Cody Carpenter with a forfeit, making it 52-18.
And at 126 pounds.
And this will be the final match of the night.
For Frederick, Cody Campos.
Cody Campos
Justin Wood.
against Justin Wood. So the Mustangs were up by 34. That lead dwindled, and now they're back up by 34 at 52-18. Transforming lives each day, Colorado Plains Medical Center is where people choose to go for health care. Colorado Plains Medical Center. We're underway, the final match of the night. This is at 126 pounds, and the Mustangs lead the duel 52-18. Near the center circle, both of these wrestlers are juniors. Wood of Fort Morgan and Campos of Frederick. Not too much action. They're just maneuvering around the mat, looking for an opening. If you got here late, you missed a lot because we've been wrestling for less than 40 minutes. And this duel will be over with this match. We've had no matches go the distance. Actually, one, and that was a 14-0 victory by Richard Herrera, Fort Morgan at 145 pounds. Other than that, we've had pins across the board and forfeits as well. A minute to go, first period. No score between Justin Wood of Fort Morgan and Cody Campos of Frederick. Not much is happening out there. And now picking up a single leg and taking his opponent down is Justin Wood for a 2-0 lead. 45 seconds to go, opening period. From Fort Morgan High School, the Mustangs looking to make this a 40-point victory if Wood can pick up a pin. Still up 2-0, 32 seconds to go in the first, just off the center of the mat. We'll have video clips up on KSIRsports.com. Click on Fort Morgan Videos. Also on KSIR B106 on our channel, KSIR B106 channel on YouTube, of the victories tonight by Caleb Sills, Derek Gray, Brandon Hoffman, and Ian Wingstrom. Plenty of video action there. Wrestlers head on the edge of the mat, and that's the end of the first period. 2-0 in favor of Wood of Fort Morgan over Campos of Frederick. For all of your title needs, visit Tim Weimer at Northern Colorado Title, 205 West Kiowa in Fort Morgan. And let's see who's going to take the down position. It'll be Campos of Frederick. Or, nope, no down position. They'll just face each other. With Wood holding that 2-point advantage, second period is underway. They didn't do much in the first period, but Wood had that one shot, a successful one for the 2-point takedown. And this does have the makings of a match that will last another 3 minutes and 45 seconds. As we have a minute 38 to go, second period. The Mustangs lead the duel 52-18. Pins by Jacob Gherkin, Caleb Sills, Derek Gray, Brandon Hoffman, Ben Hokanado, and moments ago Ian Wingstrom, who trailed Tyler Ashton 10-3 at 113 pounds and rallied to win the match via the pin in 4 minutes and 30 seconds. 1-point escape by the Frederick wrestler Campos. It's 2-1 with a minute 5 to go in the second. In on a single leg is Campos. However, riding him out of bounds is Wood. With 1:01 to go in the second, 2-1 is the lead for Wood of Fort Morgan. Out near the center of the mat. Tie up shoulder to shoulder. Who's going to deliver the shot here for the 1-point lead? Because that's, well, it'd be a 3-point lead if Wood does it and takes down Campos. And a 1-point lead if Campos does it and takes down Wood. 38 seconds remaining, second period. 2-1 in favor of the Fort Morgan wrestler, Justin Wood, at 126 pounds. Stop by 302 Main Street in Fort Morgan. Letter jackets, T-shirts, banners, and more at Bijou T-Quest. They're also your local experts customizing your team sports apparel. Nothing happening out there. They're just moving around near the center of the mat. It's still 2-1. And there's a shot in there by Wood, but nothing doing. Looks like it's going to be 2-1 going into the third period, as we've only got 4 seconds to go. And there is the buzzer. 2 minutes of wrestling, unless they go to overtime, remaining tonight in Fort Morgan. It's a 2-1 lead for Justin Wood over Cody Campos of Frederick. Whether it's health, life, or dental insurance or Medicare supplements, see Sharon Kaufman at Insurance Connection. And the third period is underway. Face to face are these wrestlers. Tying up shoulder to shoulder, now separating. There's a shot by Wood, picks up a single leg. And can he take Campos down? He's still holding that single leg. And there's the takedown for the 2 points. Nearly 20 seconds into the third, there's the 1-point escape for Campos. And Wood now leads by a score of 4-2. This is the final match of the night. We're at 126 pounds. A minute 29 to go, and now a minute 28 as they go out of bounds. Northeast Colorado's hometown savings and loan with locations in Fort Morgan and Brush. Equitable Savings and Loan. Wrestler's just out there near the center of the mat. Again, not much happening. No contact yet. Here we go. They tie shoulder to shoulder, but break away from each other again. With a minute to go in the match. Justin Wood of Fort Morgan with a 4-2 lead at 126 pounds over Cody Campos of Frederick. And is that going to be another takedown? No. It's waved off as they go out of bounds as Wood nearly pulled it off. It would have been a 4-point lead. Instead, they go face-to-face in the center. 48 seconds to go in this duel. 4-2 in favor of Wood of Fort Morgan over Campos of Frederick. Tied shoulder to shoulder just off the center of the mat. They break free. We're down to 33 seconds. And if Wood now shoots in on a single leg and no takedown awarded near the edge of the mat. 23 seconds remaining. Wood just wants to avoid overtime. He just cannot get taken down. Got 15 seconds to go. Shooting in on a single leg is going to be Campos near the edge of the mat. They go out of bounds. 11.2 ticks remaining in this duel from Fort Morgan High School. Mustangs can pick up 3 points and win by 37. Whistle's blown. We're inside of 5 seconds to go, and that's going to be a Justin Wood of Fort Morgan is going to defeat Cody Campos of Frederick 4-2 at 126 pounds. The Mustangs win the duel 55-18. We'll wrap it up in 1 minute on B106 and B106.com. Welcome back to Fort Morgan High School, where the Mustangs win their duel over the Frederick Warriors 55-18. Welcome to the Mustang post-match show and post-duel show, brought to you by High Plains Bank in Wiggins. No matter what your loan needs, stop by High Plains Bank at 502 Central Avenue. Also inquire about checking and savings accounts as well as CDs at High Plains Bank in Wiggins. The matches tonight started at 132 pounds. Jacob Gherkin for Fort Morgan pinned Jordan DeFalco of Frederick in 4 minutes and 41 seconds. Mustangs took a 6-0 lead. Caleb Sills at 138 pounds made it 12-0 with a 44-second fall over Sean Briggs. Richard Herrera then with a 14-0 victory at 145. Still not sure who his opponent was, but nonetheless that gave the Mustangs a 16-0 lead. Then at 152, Derek Gray with a 121 fall over Cody Lucier, making it 22-0. Brandon Hoffman needed just 46 seconds at 160 pounds to pin Alex Vinifray, and that made it 28-0 Fort Morgan. At 170, Ben Hoconato, I believe his opponent was Logan Brandon, and Hoconato with a 1 minute and 27-second fall as the Mustangs picked up another first-period pin, their fourth of the night, making it 34-0. At 182, it was Jake Vargas of Frederick with a 313 fall over Chris Shriver of Fort Morgan. That made it 34-6. Another fall for a Frederick wrestler, Jaron Ballman, at 195. A junior over freshman Jesus Ibarra. That was in 61 seconds. It was 34-12. There were open weights at 220 pounds on both sides. At 285, Fort Morgan's Angel del Campo received a forfeit, making it 40-12. And then Jesse Ortiz won by forfeit for Frederick at 106, making it 40-18. Then the Mustangs picked up 3 consecutive wins to close out the night. Ian Wingstrom at 113 pounds trailed 10-3 against Tyler Ashton. And then Wingstrom was able to pin him in 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Mustangs took a 46-18 lead. And then at 120, Cody Carpenter received a forfeit for Fort Morgan, making it 52-18. And then only the second match to go the distance tonight. Justin Wood, a junior for Fort Morgan at 126 pounds, with a 4-2 decision over Cody Campos of Frederick. Mustangs win the duel by a score of 55-18. Again, if you missed any of the action, we'll have some videos up tomorrow on our KSIR B106 channel on YouTube. It'll also appear on KSIRsports.com by clicking on Fort Morgan videos. Sound engineer and producer tonight of Fort Morgan Mustang Wrestling, doing an excellent job, is Braden Snyder. I'm John Beltran. The final score of the duel once again from Fort Morgan High School. Fort Morgan 55, Frederick 18. And you heard it all right here on B106 and B106.com.